Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are today here from the city of Komombo. So we spoke with the boat. We were supposed to be traveling right now on the boat, sailing to Edfu without signal, but we managed to convince the boat to stay for us. So I won't be for long, otherwise I will delay the trip. We just were in Komombo temple, and today in the morning we went to Abu Simbel. So for those who knows about geography, we are really tired. We began at 3 a.m. today, and here we are still. So here, all the people that are here right now, they are Spanish speaker. So I was wondering if I have to do it only in Spanish. Well, English speakers are coming.
Oops.
Well, Romanian speakers.
Assalamualaikum.
Serus.
Servus. Ciao.
So today we begin with the topic, which is devotion. So about devotion, for sure we all know this concept regarding the devotion that people feel for a divinity, for a god, being in a religion or in a dogma, specific dogma. But we are not going to speak only about that. We're going to try to understand the metaphysics or the concept behind this devotion and how do we live it from the inside perspective. So first of all, we have to understand what devotion means. So devotion comes from the Latin de and votus. De meaning towards, and votus meaning a promise. Votus is like when you go to vote, like in a when you go to vote, like in a how do you say, in a political campaign or something like this. So votus is a promise of something that you maintain during a lot of time. So this makes the votus like a solemnity concept. Remember that we spoke about being solemnity, about solemnity, which is to maintain something during a whole year, something that you say, something that you express, you hold it through the whole year. So a votus is a promise that you do to keep the things during a period of time, like when you vote for a politician. So devotion with de in front means to dedicate your entire year, your entire time into that promise. So it's not just a promise you do for something in the future, but to be devote is to be constantly putting your energy, your will every day into that promise. Okay? So this is why devotion, the one that has devotion for something, for divine, for whatever, is someone that constantly, every day, is maintaining a discipline onwards of this concept. Um, so we could say that during 2020 and 2021, most of us are being devotees of the I am. So we usually relate devotion with religion, but it's not always like this. The devotion can be also expressed to someone that we admire, to something or someone that we love, like from the family, friends, relationships, someone we fell in love with, or these kind of things. So it's not only about religion. So we usually relate the concept of devotion in a religious way because usually when we become part of a religion, we make a promise, which is the devotion. Um, um, we make a promise to a divinity, to a being, to a god or a goddess, whatever. And the religions has these dogmas that keep the people doing exactly the same. So kind of that's why we relate devotion with religion. Okay, but basically, devotion speaks about this promise that you do on loving, um, um, and connecting with something or with someone that you um, feel a lot, that you love a lot. Um, so devotion, we can relate devotion with the unconscious way of loving. Why? Because usually what we um, what we do um, uh, when we are devotees of something is that we project our energies, we project our love into something that is outside. Okay, so we put all of us in the outside. Um, so we have these two ways of loving: the unconscious way that is related to devotion, which is to give the energy to something outside, and um, the conscious way of loving, which is to realize that those things that you love, that you feel, are just a part of myself, just a projection of myself. So here we have another meaning of this another meaning of devotion, of the word devotion. So another etymology that we can take that is like hidden behind devotion is the concept of divine. As I said, when we are devotees of something, we put all our energy into the love of something that is outside, and that's usually related to the gods, to the divinity. Remember that divinity comes from the etymology dieu in the European language that gave us the name Dewa, which is Deva. Deva means day, light of day. That's the origin of the name. So so from there, divinity comes. So so the concept of devotion also encodes the idea of devotion for a divinity. Um, So when we are devotes or something, like have devotion for a divinity, is because we are looking for the light, the day, dewa, in something. Okay, so we have the clarity, the light inside something, and we are attracted by that light. So I know that the image is a bit hard or strong, I don't know, but imagine like a lamp, and the insects, and you will see how many insects go to the light and they end up dead on the bomb. So just as an advice of following the light. So the reason why we follow divinities is because we are looking for the light. Remember, divine, Dewa means light, day. So when we are following the light, the day, we follow a divinity. So looking for that light, we usually fall into the mistake of believing that we don't have the light and we have to find that light outside in others. So looking for that light, we don't recognize that we also can shine, and we put all our intention and love, believing that the only way we can feel that light is outside in someone, in a divinity. So the devotion that I have onto some divinity is the promise that I do to myself to go towards the light, which is in that divinity in which I am projected to. So today I wrote in the post an example to help us understand how this works. So the example was that imagine that you are inside a room and you are seated on a corner, and in the other corner you have a light, and so from that point of view where you are seated, you can see the whole room because of the light of the how do you say, lamp? Okay, from the lamp. So imagine that what we do, our thought is, oh, so if the light is the one that gives me clarity to see everything around, so I have to get the light. I have to go to the light. So imagine that you start to get closer to the light, and you get so close and so close to the light that two things happen. One is that you start to be blind because there's so much light into your eyes that you cannot see anything. And the second thing is that as closer you get to the light, the bigger is the shadow. So when you are with the light here and you catch the light between your arms, the entire room will be in dark, and the only place with the light will be here. This is the example of how in our will of love by devotion, a divinity, and willing to have the light for ourselves, we are creating much more confusion and much more darkness. So the main goal of light is to show me the reality, to show me what is there in the room. Okay, so it's not about it's not about having the light that makes me more clear. It's like trying to see the world by just staring and gazing the sun. If you just stare at the sun, you're not going to be able to see the beauties of the world. You have to see the beauties of the world when there is the light of the sun during the day. So this is how we can understand and use the light. So what we have to do in order to see the beauties of this room is to walk around the room and to watch, observe everything that the light the light is allowing us to see in that room, in that space. Because if we go to catch the light for ourselves, to get the light for ourselves, what happens is that we are not going to be able to see anything. We are creating much more darkness instead. So after walking around the world, after recognizing many things from the reality, from the planet, we start to realize that that same light is within ourselves. And the reason is because the light that is in the other side of the room is just a polarized image of ourselves, is a projection from ourselves. We are that same shadow that we are projecting, and we are that same light that we are watching. So when I realize that I myself, I'm the light, so suddenly I will know that I will be like the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of a lamp that helps me to see the shapes of the things around me. So if I am that light, I will recognize that all the things that I see in the reality around me are only seen by the amount of light that I can make shine. So this basically means that if I shine really bright, I will be able to see much clear all the things. And if I don't have much bright, this means that I will see much more shadows. So in this way, we can understand that the world around us is just a projection of our own light. And until the moment we cannot see this own light, we are going to follow the light of others. And we will follow that light through falling in love and through devotion. So through devotion, I will look for that light in things or beings that represent that light for me. Or by falling in love, I will look for people that I think they have those things that I don't find in me, in myself. So I know that this might hurt, but it's really weird that we fall in love with someone by true love, and basically what we really do is to fall in love with others by devotion. If you fall in love with someone for what you see in the surface of that someone, is devotion. If you fall in love with someone because that person has attributes that you don't have and you love them, that's devotion. And it seems that I'm speaking this and it seems like what I'm saying is wrong, that this is wrong. So I know that this sounds like if devotion is something wrong, but it's not. It's not. It's not wrong. It's something natural. And it's something that is fine. And why I say this? Because we are humans and we live in the third dimension and we are divided, projected in many. To love as the love really is, we should not be humans. We should be in the universe, levitating in between the planets. I don't know. So we should be something really wide and divine, and I don't know. So we are here experiencing different points of views. We are here experiencing different realities. So it's not that we should leave the devotion and start to love like the divine, because we are humans and we have to learn to love like a human does. So devotion is part of the process of understanding how to find that light in the world through recognition, through sharing. So basically the system tells us that we are moving ahead by looking into others many things that we think that we don't have. But remember, we are one. So everyone is only one being divided in many. So when you admire someone, actually you are admiring something that is part of yourself too. The problem is that we do it from the unconscious. So when we do this from the unconscious way, we lose a lot of energy by trying to admire the others. Okay, but when you are aware of this, when you are conscious about this system, actually you are loving different aspects of yourself. So any person that has a devotion for a religion, for a philosophy, for a person, for whatever, an object, is doing this process of loving, of devotion. And it's fine. The only thing is that you have to know that if you are willing to reach the light, you will do it through the unconsciousness creating darkness. And if you do it through the conscious, you will be just walking around the room enjoying the colors. Until the moment walking around, we realize that the origin of the light is myself, oneself, yourself. So you become devoted to yourself. So the moment when I transcend the devotion from the outside and started to be devoted to myself is what in Latin we call reflection, which in English is, ¿cómo se dice? Reflexión. ¿Igual? ¿No hay otra palabra para eso? Reflection.
Como espejearse, dices.
No.
En ese contexto. ¿Reflexión en qué contexto?
Reflexionar.
Porque
en español es la misma palabra. Pero
reflect.
when you not reflect like in a mirror. When you think about the things.
Realize.
It's the same. You can use it. Okay.
Meaning the same word.
So it's the same word. Yeah. So
Contemplate.
yeah, it's like reflection, but not because you are reflecting, but because you are flexing, which is flexus. Reflection comes from re, that is to come back, and flexus, that means to bend. Okay, so actually the concept of to think about something, to make a reflection of something, is this reflexing would be to contemplate. Yeah. No, because contemplate is outside.
Yeah.
It's like looking
It's
for an
just
insight.
reflect on an
Yes.
idea.
Reflect on. Yes, it's a reflect on an idea. Yes. So so you stop watching outside the light and you start to see the light within. So that's the meaning of when you start to think about the things, when you start to not to just believe in the things outside, but also to try to understand them by yourself. I think that's it. So as a summary, remember that what we usually do in the process of loving is that we are unconsciously looking for this light outside that we call devotion, making the promise to follow something outside. And this is not wrong. This is just a way in which we can relate to the fractalization of ourselves until we start to become aware, conscious about this system, and we reflect again about the things, so we can start to seek the light within and to refer to ourselves, to the inside. The vibration for today is 2. The statement for today is, I am the manifested web. The code for today is Scorpius, and it's good to be in Komombo, the Temple of Darkness, for this. Scorpius. And it's the necessities what takes us to the next plane. Submerging again in the deep waters of the soul. The poison of the scorpion can kill and heal. And in the presence of a scale imbalance, it can take me to see the darkest of my basic needs, or show me the inner ability of finding the soul's nourishment beyond physical. For that, Scorpius will be the constellation that reminds us about the deepest search in the muds of the being, in what we don't want to see or work on, like the ability to find the deepest truth. Okay, let's go to the alignment. Sit comfortable, close your eyes. Concentrate in your breathing. Start to massage all your body from your feet to the head, softly caressing, becoming aware of each part of it. Feet, legs, genitals, waist, back, chest, hands, arms and shoulders, neck, face, and head. Take a deep breath Put tension in your body and let it go. I perceive how a tiny light turns on within my body, and it projects a ray of light to the outside. Try to see in which direction it is pointing at. And I perceive how this ray of light shaped the body, the forms of the beings, divinities, and persons that I feel love to, that I am devoted to. I perceive these people that I feel they have the light that I can't find in me, the attributes that I admire and that I don't have. And I can see the divinities that I admire that have the faith that I can't find in me. I recognize each one of them. I see those who I love, those who I need, those who I am a fanatic of, those who I admire. And I recognize in them the light that I can't see in me. And I recognize that all of them are there only because of this tiny ray of light that comes from me, that allows me to see them. If it wouldn't be because of this tiny light emerging from me, I would never have had the opportunity to see the attributes that I admire in them. For I can only admire and love those things that resound within me. Take a deep breath, setting this light brighter, bigger, like the rays of the sun, as I acknowledge the power that it has. Breathe, breathe, deep and deep, turning on this light. I see how my inner light bright more and more until I cannot see the differences between the people, the beings that I admire. They're all within my own light. And I irradiate this network of light that I'm creating, weaving this net with rays of light that comes from me and come back to me. Resound. I am the manifested web. I am the manifested web. I am the manifested web. I believe. Take a deep breath, and slowly I bring this consciousness all around my body by caressing it, stretching and yawning. and each one at its own time come back here and now. Thank you everybody for being here as always, and see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Valioso.